Hello mga ka-learners! In Lesson 1 and Lesson 2, you learned about the events that led to and occurred during the 1986 EDSA revolution. Have you wondered how people were affected because of this? How did the people feel about the country? We will explore that in this lesson. In this lesson, we will identify and explain the lessons that can be drawn from the 1986 EDSA revolution. Does the song Magkaisa sound familiar to you? If it is, that's very good. Can you still remember the lyrics of the song? The song Magkaisa was the popular theme song during the 1986 EDSA revolution. It was composed by current Senator Vicente Soto III and Homer Flores. Let's listen to the song and read its lyrics carefully.
Sa kapwa-ilaan, isa lang ang ugat na ating pinagmulan. Tayong lahat ay magkakalain. Sa ulo sa dagos ay huwag padadala.
Think about this. What can unity among people do to a nation in crisis? Like, what is it reflected in the song? The song merely reflected the need for unity and understanding among the Filipinos to survive the crisis that they have and will be encountering. This means that unity is not only applicable during the time of the revolution, but every time that the nation faces crises or difficulties. It has been said that unity is an effective means of attaining a common goal. For many Filipinos who witnessed the 1986 EDSA revolution, they claim that the victory won during the revolution was a work of God and a victory for the people. Indeed, tens of thousands of people flocked to EDSA to show that the spirit of patriotism is alive in them. The people showed that unity and faith in God can make the impossible possible. That is, to overthrow a dictator that ruled for 20 years. Here is an excerpt of an article written by Miguel Melia of Ateneo de Manila University. But then my parents told me the truth. I was not part of the EDSA revolution. Instead, I was stuck at home, still learning how to use the toilet properly. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know almost zip, slang for nothing, about the EDSA revolution, except maybe from what I learned from the heartwarming, tear-jerking, and tired accounts of the people. People who had seen the tanks, their hearts pounding. If someone right there and then fired a gunshot or made a loud noise, they will certainly have been squished or crushed to death by the tanks. And maybe I'm just going to repeat what has already been said, or maybe this is just me. But I believe EDSA is not really about kicking the Marqueses out of Malacanang and the ravaged country. Nor is it really about fighting back after years of injustice, of oppression, and terror. It's about the people. It's about the rich and the poor, the old and the young, the geek and the jock, losing their status, interlocking their arms, standing together along that stretch of highway. And for one moment, they were just Filipinos. All of them, one. It's about people power. Do you agree with the article or not? Was the 1986 EDSA revolution not only about overthrowing Marcos, but about what unity can do to a ravaged country like ours? Think about what people power means to you. Do you believe that there's power in the people of the country? The 1986 EDSA revolution taught us many things. It proved that democracy is present in our country. That is, the power of the state belongs to the people. That the power of the people is greater than the power of their leader. That a leader is useless when he or she loses the trust and confidence of his or her people. It is the responsibility of the government to serve the people, to provide for their needs, and to decide what is best for them. If the government fails to meet its responsibilities, if instead of being a servant to the people, it becomes the one being served, the time will come when it will lose control over its people. The people will take away all the powers and authority that they entrusted to the government. You learned in the previous lessons that the martial law period is considered as the darkest phase in the history of our country. This is because the period was filled with terror and pain. Many people suffered from the abuses of the military. But this period, like other mistakes or negative events, may also be remembered positively. That is, we learn as we go on. If we commit the same mistakes, or if we are not aware of the mistakes we commit, we will never learn. The cruelties that the Filipinos suffered during the said period awakened the spirit of patriotism within them. The sufferings of the people also made them realize that they have rights, and these rights need to be respected. During that period, modern-day heroes emerged. One example is Ninoy Aquino, whose death helped the Filipinos realize that freedom is worth dying for. Do you think history repeats itself? The answer can both be yes and no. It can happen again if we, as a nation, allow it to. When we forget about our past, we will not be aware if we are committing the same mistakes that the generation before us had committed. For example, if future leaders forget that they should be the servants of the people rather than the ones being served, the people will regain what are rightfully theirs, the power and authority that they entrusted to the leaders. Thus, if such will be the case, another revolution will take place. Let's summarize what we have learned so far. The Filipinos are great. They are brave, courageous, intelligent, and religious. People that are united can never be defeated. If the demands of the people are expressed in one solid voice, the leaders have to listen. Filipinos were able to overthrow President Marcos because they were united. The 1986 EDSA revolution showed that revolutions could be won by the people's power, not only by arms and ammunition. The government should serve the people. It should meet the demands of the people. More importantly, it should listen to the people. If a government fails to fulfill its obligations, it will surely fall no matter how strong it is. There it is, mga ka-learners. Congratulations! This is the end of the module. How was it? Did you learn a lot from this module? If so, very good. If there are portions of this module that are not very clear to you, you can watch the episodes again. Before we go, there are lots of things we learned about this module. One of them is a reminder. We should not forget our nation's history because there are many lessons that can be drawn from them that are useful in our present lives and our nation's future. I hope all of us remember this. See you next time!